Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Unman Bhattacharya. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds talks with Sultan Haitham bin Tarak in Muscat. India and Oman signed comprehensive economic partnership agreement to deepen economic ties. Oman confers its national honour, the Order of Oman, on PM Modi. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in Brussels to attend a key European Union summit. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Thursday met with Sultan Haitham bin Tarak in Muscat. Both leaders noted that the completion of 70 years of diplomatic relations between India and Oman is a landmark in bilateral partnership. They explored ways to further add greater depth to the India-Oman strategic partnership. Both exchanged views on a broad range of topics including defense, security, trade and investment, energy, agriculture, technology, new and emerging areas, culture and people-to-people ties, among others. They also discussed issues of regional and global interest. PM Modi and the Sultan of Oman also witnessed the signing of comprehensive economic partnership agreement between the two nations. The leaders welcomed the signing of CEPA as a milestone in bilateral ties, affirming that it would significantly strengthen India-Oman strategic partnership. Prime Minister Narendra Modi was bestowed with the first class of the Order of Oman award by the Sultan of Oman, Haitham bin Tarak. It has been previously given to Queen Elizabeth, Queen Maxim, Emperor Akihito, Nelson Mandela, King Abdullah of Jordan. This is the 29th such global honour conferred on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Later, both leaders exchanged gifts with each other. Prime Minister Modi participated in the India-Oman Business Summit in Oman's Muscat on Thursday. Addressing the event, PM Modi lauded the deep-rooted India-Oman friendship. The business forum was also attended by industry representatives from India as well as Oman and highlighted the rich potential to deepen economic linkages. The forum also invited businesses from Oman to invest and innovate in India.
आप कह सकते हैं कि समंदर की लहरें बदलती हैं, मौसम बदलते हैं, लेकिन भारत ओमान की दोस्ती हर मौसम में और मजबूत होती है और हर लहर के साथ नई ऊंचाई को छूती है.
Speaking on the comprehensive economic partnership agreement between India and Oman, PM stressed that the signing of CEPA will open pathways of growth, opportunity and enduring partnership between our two great nations.
आज हम एक ऐसा ऐतिहासिक निर्णय ले रहे हैं जिसकी गूंज आने वाले कई दशकों तक सुनाई देगी. कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव इकोनॉमिक पार्टनरशिप एग्रीमेंट यानी सीपा हमारी पार्टनरशिप को 21st सेंचुरी में नया विश्वास, नई ऊर्जा से भर देगा. यह हमारे साझा भविष्य का ब्लूप्रिंट है. यह हमारे ट्रेड को नई गति देगा, इन्वेस्टमेंट को नया भरोसा देगा और हर सेक्टर में अवसरों के नए द्वार खोलेगा. सीपा हमारे नौजवानों के लिए ग्रोथ, इनोवेशन और एम्प्लॉयमेंट के अनेक नए अवसर बनाएगा।
PM Modi also highlighted that when India grows, it makes its friends part of its journey. PM added that India is moving at speed to become the third largest economy. It presents great advantages for Oman as a maritime partner.
आज बिजनेस वर्ल्ड में भारत की इकोनॉमी की रेजिलियंस की चर्चा होती है। लोग अक्सर पूछते हैं कि दुनिया में इतनी अनिश्चितता है, ग्लोबल इकोनॉमी भी मुश्किलों में है, तो ऐसे में भारत 8% से अधिक की ग्रोथ कैसे अचीव कर रहा है? मैं आपको इसका बड़ा रीजन बताता हूं। असल में बीते 11 वर्षों के दौरान भारत ने सिर्फ पॉलिसीज नहीं बदली है, भारत ने अपना इकोनॉमिक डीएनए बदला है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi also attended a program by the Indian community in Oman on Thursday. The event, Maitri Parv, marks the completion of 50 years of Indian schooling system in Oman. Engaging young minds and honouring the contributions of the Indian diaspora, Prime Minister Modi met Indian community members including students in Oman. PM appreciated the Indian community in Oman for their hard work and commitment, which continue to strengthen Oman's society as well as the special bond between India and Oman. Addressing the program, PM Modi highlighted the importance of the India-Oman Maitri Parv.
आज हम सब यहाँ भारत ओमान मैत्री पर्व भी मना रहे हैं। मैत्री यानी एम से मैरीटाइम हेरिटेज, ए से एस्पिरेशंस, आई से इनोवेशन, टी से ट्रस्ट एंड टेक्नोलॉजी, आर से रिस्पेक्ट, आई से इंक्लूसिव ग्रोथ, यानी ये मैत्री पर्व हम दोनों देशों की दोस्ती, हमारी शेयर्ड हिस्ट्री और प्रॉस्परस फ्यूचर का उत्सव है।
Calling India as a UPI, the world's largest real-time digital payment system, PM Modi said that today India is building the world's biggest digital public infrastructure.
21वीं सदी का भारत बड़े फैसले लेता है, तेजी से निर्णय लेता है, बड़े लक्ष्यों के साथ आगे बढ़ता है और एक तय टाइमलाइन पर रिजल्ट लाकर ही दम लेता है। साथियों, मैं आपको गर्व की एक और बात बताता हूं। आज भारत दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा डिजिटल पब्लिक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बना रहा है। भारत का यूपीआई यानी यूनिफाइड पेमेंट्स इंटरफेस दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा रियल टाइम डिजिटल पेमेंट सिस्टम है।
After the community event, PM was greeted by hundreds of school children who came to see PM Modi. PM encouraged the students to dream big, think boldly and explore the world with curiosity. He urged them to be young ambassadors of India, sharing our values, creativity and spirit wherever they go. On to other news now. In the ongoing winter session of Parliament of India in Lok Sabha, the Viksit Bharat Guarantee for Rozgar and Ajivika Mission, Grameen, which is VBG Ramji Bill 2025 was passed. The bill proposes a sweeping overhaul of India's two-decade-old rural employment system by replacing Manrega 2005. That bill has been passed. The bill was passed after a marathon discussion and debate in the lower house, which went on till midnight on Wednesday, after which the bill was passed on Thursday.
The existing position of law. As I said, there were two main acts.
In Rajya Sabha, discussion and debate on the Sustainable Harnessing and Advancement of Nuclear Energy for Transforming India Bill 2025 is underway and will be then put up for consideration and passage. India's Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh highlighted the growth of the Department of Atomic Energy under the current government, which also opened the nuclear sector to joint venture between public sector units.
Before 2014 or 2013-14, the budget of Atomic Energy Department was just 13,879 crore, which is now increased in the current year to 37,483 crore, nearly 107.07% hike. In 2015, this government took another heroic decision and opened up the nuclear sector to joint ventures, but joint ventures limited only to the PSUs, not to the private. In 2017, for the first time in a single cabinet decision, a bulk approval was given to set up 10 reactors.
The lower house of the Parliament of India on Thursday passed the Viksit Bharat Ji Ramji Bill 2025. The reform aligns rural employment with long-term development goals while safeguarding worker rights and income support. The Viksit Bharat Ji Ramji Bill 2025 replaces Manrega with a new statutory framework aligned with Viksit Bharat 2047. The employment guarantee is enhanced to 125 days per rural household, strengthening income security. It links wage employment with durable rural infrastructure across 4 priority areas. It strengthens decentralized planning through Viksit Gram Panchayat plans and nationally integrated through the Viksit Bharat National Rural Infrastructure Stack. The shift to normative funding and a centrally sponsored structure improves predictability, accountability, and center-state partnership. The Minister of Foreign Affairs of Netherlands, David van Wiel, is in India on a state visit. The visiting minister met with India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. The dignitaries also held a bilateral meeting along with their delegation. Netherlands FM Wiel arrived in New Delhi on Thursday morning. Earlier in Mumbai, he visited the Consulate of Netherlands. His visit and engagements are focused on further deepening and diversifying India-Netherlands bilateral ties. India's Chief of Army Staff General Upendra Dwivedi on Thursday virtually addressed the 3rd Land Forces Summit hosted by the Japan Ground Self-Defense Force. The summit was attended by chiefs of armies and senior military leaders from Australia, Japan, the Philippines, Malaysia and the United States. At the Indo-Pacific Land Forces Summit, Indian Army Chief General Upendra Dwivedi proposed the Ikigai framework to boost regional military cooperation, standing for interoperability, knowledge, international humanitarian assistance and disaster relief, generative tech partnerships, assurance and integrated logistics. It rests on shared diagnosis, principles and actions. The framework aims to enhance multilateral land power collaboration for peace, stability and prosperity across the Indo-Pacific. The Indian Army contingent for exercise Desert Cyclone 2 arrived in Abu Dhabi for the joint military exercise with UAE Land Forces that's scheduled from 18th December to 30th December. The nearly 2-week exercise will focus on enhancing interoperability and operational synergy in urban operations and built-up areas. The Indian contingent comprises 45 personnel, primarily from a battalion of the Mechanized Infantry Regiment, The UAE Land Forces contingent of similar strength will be represented by the 53 Mechanized Infantry Battalion. The aim of the exercise is to enhance interoperability and foster defence cooperation between the Indian Army and the UAE Land Forces through joint training in an urban environment. India on Wednesday reaffirmed its commitment to sustained humanitarian assistance to Afghanistan with a renewed focus on healthcare cooperation and the long-term supply of essential medicines. Health Minister JP Nadda held a productive meeting with Afghanistan's Minister of Public Health, Maulavi Noor Jalal Jalali, underscoring India's support for the medicinal needs of the Afghan people. As a symbolic gesture, India handed over cancer medicines and vaccines, reflecting its continued humanitarian outreach. A larger consignment of medicines and vaccines, along with a state-of-the-art 128-slice CT scanner, is also being dispatched to Afghanistan, strengthening healthcare infrastructure and access to treatment. Still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Australia promises new hate laws as youngest Bondi Beach shooting victim is laid to rest. Australia takes control in the third Ashes Test after leaving England trailing 176 runs with 2 wickets in hand at stumps.
For sustainability to become more than just a statement, it needs to be practical and seamlessly fit into our lives.
If we are thinking about a net zero economy, and obviously automobile sector is at the center of this transformation. Instead of buying new vehicle, if I can retrofit and upgrade my existing vehicle, environmentally speaking, it is superior.
Zero waste means repair, reuse, analyze.
We realized that if women became involved in decision making and generated income, the whole family would benefit. Before, we needed a lot of manpower to handle the waste. But now, with the conveyor belt,
It converts the waste into electricity, powering 2 farms.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has vowed a sweeping crackdown on extremism and anti-Semitism on Thursday, promising new laws targeting hate preachers, visa cancellations for those spreading division, and federal offences for serious racial vilification. The announcement came as Mona's farewelled 10-year-old Matilda, who is the youngest victim of Sunday's terrorist attack at a Hanukkah celebration on Sydney's Bondi Beach. A father and son gunmen, Sajid Akram, who was killed by the police, and Naveed Akram, who has been charged with murder and terrorism, were allegedly inspired by the Islamic State ideology. The duo killed 15 people in the shooting.
These anti-Semitic terrorist attacks will not be successful with their objective, which is to divide us as a nation. We will continue to come together as a nation. It would appear that there is evidence that this was inspired by a terrorist organisation, by ISIS. Now, some of the evidence which has been procured, including the presence of Islamic State flags in the vehicle that has been seized, are a part of that. Radical perversion of Islam is absolutely a problem. It is something that has been identified globally as a problem as well. ISIS is created by an evil ideology that has been called out not just by the Australian government but globally as well.
For the latest on what's been announced and what it means, we are joined by our correspondent Nazia Alvi Rahman. Nazia, take us through the government's key decisions today.
It has been a day of lots of announcements here in Australia from both the government as well as opposition. Government for now wants to bring in 5 key things. starting with making hate laws more stringent. Any community leader, religious leader found giving any speech which is anti-Semitic in nature or provocative or can cause any kind of violence, the preacher will immediately face criminal proceedings. Secondly, any group which is found to be involved in activities which are anti-Semitic or which pose threat to the social cohesion of Australia, that group can also face a crackdown. Third thing, the visas would be scanned very vigorously from now. Even a social media post which is anti-Semitic in nature can lead to cancellation of your visa. So Home Minister would be given extra powers to cancel visas. Fourth is a 12-month task force would be set up across education institutions, schools as well as universities, where students would be sensitized. They will be taught about anti-Semitism. They'll be told about the whole Holocaust and the history of Jewish community and how anti-Semitism started and what eventually it led to. Finally, another key thing that they want to bring in is there is an e-safety commission that would be monitoring the social media space, the entire online space very closely for any kind of anti-Semitic activity, conversations and groups, so that the police and the government has early leads to act upon. Opposition has also come up with its own plans. Some of them are overlapping. They also want more powers for crackdown on hate laws and action against the groups. What additionally they have demanded, apart from what government has proposed, is a cancellation of citizenship. So if any person is found involved in a terrorist activity or has links to any terrorist organization, they want their citizenship to be cancelled and they be deported immediately. Another thing that they have asked for is that universities where a lot of anti-Semitic activities are believed to have happened in last 2 years, any university which is not able to control, which is not able to curb anti-Semitism, their status can be challenged and the university can also face action. So this is something that we would know in days to come, whether the laws would be passed next week itself or after the Christmas break.
Thanks for joining us from Canberra. And Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky arrived in Brussels on Thursday to attend a key European Union summit. EU leaders have gathered to hold discussions on defense cooperation, the long-term EU budget and the possible use of frozen Russian assets to support Ukraine. The European Union views Russia-Ukraine conflict as a direct threat to its own security. European Commission Chief von der Leyen has said that she would not leave the summit without an agreement on financing Ukraine for the next 2 years. The talks are seen as critical as officials warn that without EU financial assistance, Ukraine could face a severe funding shortfall by the second quarter of next year. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen has vowed no departure without a deal.
It is good that the European Council has committed itself last time that we will close the financing gap of Ukraine for the next 2 years. We're speaking about 137 billion euros that are necessary. It's the estimate, our own estimate and the estimate of the IMF. And we have committed to cover 2/3 of it, 90 billion euros. We'll not leave the European Council without a solution for the funding for Ukraine for the next 2 years. And the two options, one of them then has to be agreed in the European Council.
The Kremlin confirmed on Thursday that Russia is preparing contacts with the United States to obtain details on Washington's talks with European powers and Ukraine regarding a potential peace settlement to end the Ukraine conflict. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov acknowledged planned discussions amid reports of a weekend meeting in Miami involving Russian President Putin's envoy Kirill Dmitriev. However, no deal has been reached yet. Time now for sports action. England find themselves in a precarious situation after 2 days of play in the third Ashes Test against Australia at the Adelaide Oval. England were left reeling at 213 for the loss of 8 wickets when stumps were called on day 2. They trailed Australia by 158 runs after the hosts were bowled out for 371 runs in their first innings. With the Ashes on the line, they need a miraculous fight back from skipper Ben Stokes and a bit of shepherding with the lower order. Stokes showed a lot of patience for his unbeaten 45, while Jofra Archer also played a composed innings of 30 runs after the visitors were reduced to 168 for 8 wickets. India is set to mark a new milestone in competitive cycling as it prepares to host its first ever Continental Teams Men's Elite Road Race as part of the Pune Grand Tour 2026. The event places the country on a stronger footing in the global cycling circuit, joining a calendar that features the likes of Tour de France. In an exclusive conversation with DD India correspondent Meher Raj Singh, the Secretary General of Cycling Federation of India, Maninder Pal Singh, talked about the potential of the tournament and how it will give young talent international exposure.
We are at the Delhi leg of the National Trophy Tour, which has unveiled the trophy for the Pune Grand Tour. And to discuss more about this, we have Shri Maninder Pal Singh ji, who is the Secretary General of the Cycling Federation of India. Sir, very warm welcome to you. So, a landmark tournament is going to happen in India next year. So, how big is this for India and Indian cyclists who are going to get international exposure from this?
Of course. See, when we talk about cycling, we've got different disciplines, right? We've got track, we've got MTB, we've got road, the major 3 events. We are already one of the countries which host a number of MTB and track events, be it Continental Championships or UCI events. But we were lacking in the road sector. So the whole concept of having a road event and jump starting from one of the highest level of cycling was a challenge. We, of course, the Pune administration and the government of Maharashtra approached us. They had huge plans for the tourism development and how cycling fits into the whole scheme of things. So we took it up from there. We went up to UCI. We got it registered as UCI 2.2 stage race. This is definitely going to change the entire ecosystem of road cycling in the country.
So how does this tournament is going to span over those 4 days?
So this is going to be a 4-stage race, 437 kilometers. You're going to see different landscapes of Pune. It is not just going to be just the highway or just the mountains or just the other landscapes of Pune. It's going to be diverse as Pune is. It's a very tough route. It's not going to be easy for the riders. Of course, we have to prepare the elevations and the technical and share it with the countries, and the feedback that we are getting, it's not going to be easy.
And sir, earlier you talked about Giro d'Italia as well and Tour de France, and you see the vision of how this tournament can even become bigger than those tournaments which are already happening in the world.
There are stages to it. We know the pathway. We have our plans in place. So we are going to take it one event at a time, but the aim is to make it bigger than Tour de France. Of course, why just stop at Tour de France? Let's make it bigger than that. That's our vision.
So you heard from the man himself that this tournament is not only going to help athletes gain international exposure, but also put India on the global cycling map. With cameraman Sanjay, this is Meher Raj Singh for DD India, Delhi.
That's all in this edition of DD India Live, but do share your thoughts with us on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. This is Munmun Bhattacharya from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.